So a question that I get asked often, more than not, it's kind of twofold. How often should I be posting on LinkedIn? And when I do decide to post on LinkedIn, what time? Morning, afternoon, evening, what day of the week? Are some days better or worse than others? So I'm going to be going over those exact questions in today's training, in today's episode. But before we dive in, Nancy and I have been talking a lot about the most valuable asset right now in creating content on LinkedIn is part storytelling and part thought leadership. So we've created a free template for everyone. It's a free resource where we're going to give you 3 post templates for high impact posts on LinkedIn. 2 are Mad Lib style. 1 is actually a GPT that you can click on and it takes you right into your own chat GPT. You answer the questions and it'll spit out a nice, beautiful post that you can use on LinkedIn if you choose to do so. So for those that are watching on social, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, just type the words high impact in the comments and I'll send you the link so you can download it. If you're listening on the podcast, super easy. Head to the description and you'll find the link right there. So this is an interesting question because if you were to Google this, if you were to search for the answer to these questions, how often should I be posting on LinkedIn and at what time? You're going to see article after article after article. Some are from LinkedIn, some are from LinkedIn influencers, some are from LinkedIn coaches and strategists. I'm going to give you what I do, but I really feel what the best way to answer that is post as often as you can each week and don't get hung up on the time of day. Now, if you want to make things super easy for yourself, I'm going to take you through my content workflow. But remember, LinkedIn makes it even easier not just to create content, but to schedule your content because LinkedIn has their own scheduler. So for those that don't know this, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you were to go on to LinkedIn and if you were to create a post and you go to the very top and you hit start a post, you're going to see a little clock at the bottom right that says schedule for later. And if you click on that, it will basically give you a date and a time where you can pre-schedule your posts. And you can schedule these, I believe, up to 30 days in advance. So today's June 9th. So I could schedule my content through September 5th. That's pretty cool. So the day and the age of not knowing or, when should I post or should I have it come out at a certain time? If you want your content to go out first thing in the morning, great. If you want your content to go out in the afternoon, great. If you want your content to go out in the evening, that's fine too. Now, for me, I always, outside of my LinkedIn Lives and my trainings, you will find my video trainings go out on Mondays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. I don't know why I picked 10 a.m. I just felt like that was a good time to catch people as they're settling into their workday. They're not driving on their way to work. It's also early enough where people on their lunch break can tune back in later, or when they get back from work, they can because it's there. So whenever I do my LinkedIn live training videos on Mondays and Thursdays, they always publish and go out live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I was to produce almost like a short style video, the vertical videos that you can post on LinkedIn, that is something in addition to an a text post, an image text post, a carousel post, a poll, a newsletter edition, any other content that I create outside of that LinkedIn live training, that is scheduled to go out anytime between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I will schedule it at 7, 7:15, but no later than 7:30. 7:30 is the absolute latest that I will schedule or have my content go out that's not a LinkedIn live event video. Why? Can't tell you. For me, I am a creature of habit. I've been posting that time of day 7, 8, 9 years at this point. My reasoning behind that, or the thought process behind that, was I wanted to make sure that my content was being seen when people logged on. So if it's going out at 7:30 Eastern, that means it's going out at 6:30 Central. It's going out at 5:30 Mountain, 4:30 Pacific. So no matter when someone gets up, someone on the West Coast that's getting up at 5 a.m. or 5:30, even 6, and they're checking, their content for the day, or they're logging on the LinkedIn. I want my content to already be out there, but here's the other reason. If the majority of my demographic is East Coast or Central, or even in Europe, which may be 5 or 6 hours ahead, I'm hitting them around lunchtime. So the idea is if I can get some traction on my content first thing in the morning, LinkedIn will continue to share that content. So when the Mountain Standard Time people and the Pacific Standard Time people start logging on, it'll be visible and available to them to comment later. Now, the other reason why I like to get it out first thing in the morning is because there are people that check in on certain content throughout the day. There are some people that log on to LinkedIn when they first get to work. There's people that log on to LinkedIn during their lunch break, or when they are going home from work, or when they're at home from work. There's some people that work from home, so they're kind of toggling all day long. I am a creature of habit, so consistency is king for me in the sense of I want to show up the same time every single day. Now, if you're thinking and you're like, Scott, well, I live in Europe. That's completely fine. You could still post your content at 7 a.m. your time. It'll still be available when someone logs on 7 a.m. their time. It'll still be kind of prevalent there and present. Now, if you're Central Standard Time, schedule your content to go out at 6. If you're Mountain, schedule it to go out at 5 or 5:30. I have a ton of clients that are Pacific Standard Time, and I typically have them schedule their content at around 5:30 or 6 a.m. because that's still landing on the East Coast at 9 a.m., which is still really good. And the fact that you don't have to do it live, and I think that's the other big piece that's been taken off of people's plates, is no longer do you have to log on to LinkedIn at 5 o'clock in the morning to post your content. You could pick a day to schedule your content and you're done for the week. And you could just select the date and time, right? 5 a.m. Pacific Standard. I know that's going out at 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to schedule my content Monday through Friday. Boom, I'm done. So my recommendation is think about where the majority of your network is and try to pick a time that kind of slides right into the middle where you're going to hit most time zones. So again, anywhere between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Eastern. If you're on the Pacific Standard Time, I would say somewhere between 5:30 and 6 a.m. And then obviously you can back it from there if you're Mountain Standard Time and Central Standard Time and even Europe. Now, how often? I've talked about this many, many times. Unlike other social media platforms, LinkedIn is not best for quote unquote frequency per day. It's frequency per week, in the sense that most of the other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok, you're going to need to post multiple times a day. Their algorithm is set up a little bit differently. Chris Penn, who you should be following on LinkedIn, studies algorithms. There's 14 different algorithms on LinkedIn currently right now. So you don't need to post multiple times a day on LinkedIn. Once a day is more than fine, more than enough. You will see I get traction on content from days ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, sometimes a week ago, depending upon what it is. So if I was to tell someone, if someone was to ask me, if I'm just getting started on LinkedIn, how often should I post? Baseline, 3 days a week. Now, I used to tell people that I like something called the bookend methodology, where you start the week, you catch the middle of the week, and you end the week with a post, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You put out a post on Monday, you put out something midweek on Wednesday, and you end the week with a post on Friday. There's been contradictive articles and newsletters out there that say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the best days to post because Monday, people are just getting into the workflow of their day. And Friday, people are kind of checked out waiting for the weekend. But I kind of disagree with that because some of my most engaged content is sometimes even on Saturdays when people are just away from work and they can kind of check back in on LinkedIn and any activity they may have missed or engaging with other people. So that I always suggest people to do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever is good for you. Above that, if someone says, well, what if I do Monday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday, Friday? Great. Pick whatever 3 days you want. Just be consistent on those 3 days. If Monday, Thursday, Friday works for you, if Tuesday, Thursday, Friday works for you, if Monday, Tuesday, Friday works for you, so be it. But get ahead of that by using LinkedIn's scheduling tool to schedule your content. Now, when it comes to what kind of content you should post, obviously I led off with thought leadership, storytelling type content. That's why anyone that types the words high impact in the comments, I will send you the link to download our post templates. You'll get 3 templates for 3 different high impact posts on LinkedIn. If you're listening on the podcast, just head to the description. You can download it from there. But what I always encourage and coach people to do is 3 types of content: written content, video content, market research content. So what does that look like? That could be a short form vertical video on Monday, a market research poll on Wednesday, and maybe a text only post on Friday, or an article or a newsletter edition if you have one. But find your own cadence. If you want to do your newsletter edition or a text post on Monday and a market research poll on Friday and a newsletter on Wednesday, that is fine. But 3 great posts to commit to doing each week is an audio video post, a market research post, and a static image or a text post. So just static content that will keep readers on there. Now, the other idea is to really engage people when you're doing your text post, increasing dwell time. Dwell time is the amount of time that someone is on the post, meaning if they're spending more time reading it, LinkedIn picks up on that, they'll show it to more people. And you do that by having a nice catchy title, have good thought leadership, high impact content, value added content that's going to pour back into them. And if you're going to do a market research poll, which you can go to my profile and check out some of the ones that I've done, always address a problem. Always address a problem. And just to kind of go through and talk through some examples to show you and to walk you through what it would sound like, what it would look like when you are producing content on LinkedIn. So when you're doing content on LinkedIn, I do a mixture of anything, but just to kind of give you the idea, in a text post that I put out on a Saturday of all days, I just, and I'll read it to you. I had a friend and colleague recently ask me a very powerful question that really made me think back on my journey in coaching and consulting. What's one mistake you made that if you can go back in time, you'd do differently in your coaching business? It didn't take me long to give him an answer. Here's what I told him. I wouldn't try to be everything to everyone. I thought saying yes to every client and every industry would help me grow. but it only diluted my value, drained my time, and slowed my progress. That decision taught me I had to learn to say no. No to projects that didn't align, no to clients outside my expertise, no to opportunities that looked good but felt wrong. That no created space for the right yes. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What did you take away most from this post? And what's one decision you'd approach differently today? Knowing what you know now, drop in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. And a bunch of people commented, which is great. Now, I did a poll question. If you could go back 5 years, what would you prioritize sooner in your business? And I said, building a personal brand, post consistent content on LinkedIn, networking with ideal clients. Other comment below, bunch of comments, 46 votes, 43% said networking with ideal clients. And this is necessary information. There needs to be a deep rooted thought process when you are creating content on LinkedIn. So that's why you really need to put yourself in the shoes of that passenger side perspective, the person that you're looking to impact the most. So really think about just everything you're producing on LinkedIn is of high value, is leaving them better, is going to make them want to come back for more. And like I mentioned before, varying an audio video type post that is a short form video, a market research poll question to find out the pain points of the type of network of connections that you have and what they're struggling with and what you can help them with, and then a static text only post, whether that be a newsletter edition, an article, or just a text post by itself. So one last time, anybody that wants the high impact post templates for LinkedIn, you get 3 of them. All you have to do is type the words high impact in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast, just go to the description and you can download it there. So I hope you found today's training helpful. Love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you next time.